So today we're going to be looking at frequency tables. You've probably heard and or seen these before. Okay, a frequency table is something that's going to take data based on multiple different things. Okay, so maybe based on, in this situation, right, I have the label up above, but eye color and gender. Okay, we could do age with favorite color, we could do favorite types of foods, we could do, there's an infinite amount of things that you could put here. Okay, I'm trying to keep things kind of simple. I don't like to get into debatable topics, especially when we're just trying to talk about what it means, how we do it. So today we're going to be looking at eye color. Okay, when we collect data, right, it's important that we are collecting data in a meaningful way. I guess maybe a better word than meaningful is a way that's actually valid. Right? If I went up to Ben and I said, Ben, I really like your shirt, so is that color your favorite color? And I just said, oh, that's Ben's favorite color. Is that actually true that that's Ben's favorite color? No, right? I just kind of put words in his mouth. That's not helpful. Okay, so if I'm going to collect data today about your favorite color, I said, okay, class, today I'm going to collect some data about what your favorite color is. But guys, here is some really cool information for you to know. I really love the color teal, and other students who like the color teal, I tend to give them A's in the class.
I like teal.
How many of you like the color teal? Whoop, and all of our hands go up. Right? That's not a valid way for me to get data. Because now you're just telling me that you like teal because you want the outcome. Right? You don't want the true statement, you want the outcome that you'll get a good grade. I am not going to give you an A because you like the color teal.
Wait, is that really your favorite color though?
I do really like teal. I don't know if it would be my favorite, but. Okay, so that being said, if we are collecting information, we always want to make sure that we are doing it in a way that we are getting a true response, okay, and that it's answering exactly what we want them to answer. So I always throw my husband under the bus in this unit. He knows, he doesn't care, so it's all good. Okay, so here's a picture of my husband. Well, my family, right? This is my husband. Okay, so I'm going to collect some data about people being bald. Okay?
That happens to the best of us.
Is my husband bald?
Yeah.
Oh, but that was a lot of different responses.
He's balding.
Well, I can't see him, so no.
There, so look. Is he bald?
I mean, balding. Yeah.
No, he's a fake. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
What do we mean by being bald?
Oh, that head shiny.
Well,
Shiny.
okay, yeah, I can.
No, but look. Okay, so my husband can grow hair.
Why don't
Oh.
He doesn't because he doesn't care to deal with it. It actually kind of is a long story, but
He shaves his head.
right, so we just take the clippers and we put it on the shortest setting and we just buzz it off every few days.
That's what Mr. Fugate does.
Yeah, why? Because he likes it that way. He doesn't have to worry about it. Like I said, it's kind of a long story, but when his mom went through chemotherapy, it was kind of a joke that he would cut all of his hair off when she lost her hair, and he did it, and they were both like, oh, this is great. Don't ever have to like deal with it or do anything with it. So now we just,
Yeah, I'll shave my head
because
too.
it's fine.
like in the other pictures, his hair, like, he has like a little bit of hair, but yeah.
Right, so,
Like, in the wedding.
no, guys, this is not focusing. This is not focusing. Okay, so, is my husband bald?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, again, some people might answer this with a yes, some people might answer this with a no. What would we have to do to make sure that everybody is answering the question in the exact way that our questionnaire is designed to get a response? What would we have to do?
Tell him the definition of what bald
Yeah,
is.
have a
Okay,
definition.
so we're gonna have to give very clear explanation, right? Are we collecting data saying that bald means you have no hair on your head, or bald means you have a bald head and you've cut it off, or bald, whatever we decide we want that to be. Okay, so today we're doing data on eye color. I'm giving you 3 choices. Okay, you are gonna have to decide if your eye color is blue, green, or brown.
I can figure this out right.
Okay, now, for the majority of us, this isn't a big issue. But I see some hesitation in Rachel. What are you thinking, Rachel?
I have hazel eyes.
What about people with hazel? So I specifically made it this way on purpose. What about people with hazel eyes?
We're weird.
Where should they go?
That's like
Just
no
go out
brown
and
color.
really
It's
like
like a
it.
brown.
You're not asking who has hazel eyes. I'm just asking who has blue.
No, okay, so I'm saying I want everyone to vote, or whatever, right? We'd have to give specification. Okay, we would need to say, in this survey, I'm saying if you have hazel eyes, you should say blah, whatever. So that we're truly getting the same response from everyone, and not just, here is an opinion I had in the moment. I had no idea what you were trying to get data on. Obviously, this is a little bit of a ridiculous situation, right? It would be way easier to just fill in hazel eyes. But like I said, bless you, I try to stay out of categories that get a little bit heated or debatable. Okay, there's obviously lots of things we could collect data on that aren't as simple as eye color, that we would need to give some more specifics. Okay, does that make sense? So, for our survey today, because we're just looking at frequency tables and we're just getting a general collection to be able to do some data, right now, it's not that important. Okay, decide right now in your brains, decide what category you want to put yourself in. So if you have hazel eyes, say, okay, maybe my eyes tend to look more green or whatever. My daughter has weird color eyes. I swear they're like gray. But whatever. Okay, just decide what category. Now,
What kind of pop types?
I want to say
here are additional rules. Everyone has to respond. Everyone needs to give me a vote. And you can only vote one time. So that means if you have hazel eyes, you cannot put yourself in green and brown. You have to pick one category to put yourself in, right? Otherwise, again, we would get data that's not right.
Somebody call it green.
Okay, so let's collect some data. Here's how I want to collect data. I want you to raise your hand based on each category that I give you. Okay, so we need to listen, and we're going to go through here. You have a table, so you're going to fill in the same numbers as me. If you are a boy with blue eyes, raise your hand.
you have brown eyes.
It's too far away. You don't see.
I can see from you.
Do you have blue eyes, Nathan? Then why are you raising your hand? I gave one expectation, and that I gave one expectation, and it was to do this seriously.
I thought you said.
That was the only expectation.
I thought you said brown.
Nathan.
Yes.
Okay, put your hands down. If you are a boy and you have green eyes, raise your hand.
Oh, I have green eyes.
You actually?
You have green.
Guys, it doesn't really matter. Do I need to just put numbers in here and make us do this as an assignment?
No.
Then stop. If you are a boy and you have brown eyes, raise your hand. Okay, now girls, if you are a girl and you have blue eyes, raise your hand. If you are a girl and you have green eyes, raise your hand. I'll put myself in there so we have some data. If you are a girl and you have brown eyes, raise your hand.
You literally only have one, two.
Okay, so here's our table. How could we check and make sure that we actually got a response from everyone?
Not everybody in the class.
Yeah, you have to add it up.
Right?
You can go down the row.
So we could add all of this up. We could add all of this up and count to make sure we included everyone who's currently in this room. So let's check and see. We have 2, 4, 6. We have 6, 9, 10. So we want to see if right now we have 16 people in this room. So 4, 7, 11.
Yeah, 16. We have 16. Wait, but you counted yourself.
We have 18 people.
Wait, what?
Somebody did.
1, 2, 3,
18.
4,
1,
5,
2,
6,
what's going
7,
on
wait,
here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Did you count me?
Yeah, 18.
No, it's 18.
Okay, which means, did we get accurate data collection here?
No, so we have to do it again.
No, so we need to do it again because everybody either didn't vote or when we raised our hand, we didn't raise it clearly. Right, so going like this to raise your hand isn't super helpful. So sometimes we might need to offer different ways to get that data to make sure we're clear.
Put your head down.
Okay, not necessarily in this situation, but maybe you write it down on a sheet of paper and we know we're taking a paper from everyone, right? Some other options that way. So let's try one more time.
Everybody hit the desk.
Okay, boys with blue eyes, raise your hand. Boys with green eyes, raise your hand. Boys with brown eyes, raise your hand.
1, 2,
6,
4,
7,
5,
8.
6.
There's our mistake. So this is 8,
7.
and this is 12. Okay, so now we have some information about students and their eye color. Now we want to be able to go through and we want to look at this data and interpret what it is telling us. Okay. So now we're going to talk about what this means and some information that we can get from it, which is what we always really truly want to do with data, right? The point of getting data is to tell us some valuable information. You don't need to like copy this over, I just have to scroll. So now we're going to go through and we're going to answer some questions here. Yep, write this down on your table. Okay, so question 1. How many boys were part of this sample?
12.
And how did you figure that out, Dylan?
Because I added all the boys up.
Okay, so we went to our boy column and we added up how many boys were in it.
Yo,
Right? 8, 9, 12. So we had 12 boys in this sample. Right? We don't need to look at the class. We don't need to be present in this situation. We could just look at this frequency table and say that there were 12 males sitting in the classroom. Okay. How many were sampled in total?
18.
And how can we figure out how many were sampled in total? Add them all up, right? Both columns, add them all together. We already did that to check to make sure we got everyone. So we now know that there were 18 people total in the classroom. Now, here's where my students make the mistakes. Okay, question number 3 says, what percent? Okay, right? A percent is no longer just calculating a number. What do we need to be able to calculate a percent? A fraction. Okay, so we know once we read this word percent, we know we're going to be talking about a fraction. It is crucial that we read carefully to find what we're actually using to calculate the percent. So this says, what percent of students in the class? Okay, whatever comes after the word of is going on our denominator. It's going on the bottom of our fraction. That's our total piece. Now, I put myself into here just because we had a really small classroom, and it's going to be easier here in a minute for me to talk about myself than to talk about you. Okay, so what percent of students in the class? So how many students were in this class? 18, because we already calculated the total. So on the bottom of our fraction, we're going to put 18. Now, the English language is weird. Right? So are boys with brown eyes. Now, are the structure of what we're surveying, that wording might be slightly different. It's sort of like our prepositional phrase.
English game. English game.
Okay, so are boys with brown eyes? So if we look over here at our table, how many boys had brown eyes?
3.
3, right? Because we don't want all the boys. We only want boys with brown eyes.
That's blue up there. Brown
Oh
is
gosh,
8.
I've used terrible abbreviations, didn't I?
Yeah.
Better. Thanks.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
8.
Sorry. Boys with brown eyes.
8.
Good call. Thanks. 8. So that's our number that's going on the top.
And then you just divide.
Then we divide, right? So to calculate a percent, we divide. So here's where it's just, you're going to need to use your calculator. Don't do long division. Don't divide this all out. Pick up your calculator. Yep, go ahead and grab it if you want it. Okay, and in your calculator, you are going to do 8 divided by 18. Don't type this in as a fraction. Type this in as division.
0.4 from even.
Yep, so we get 0.444444. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to give you permission to round. And I want you to round when you get your decimal with 4 decimal points. Okay, now, is this a percent yet?
No.
No, that's the decimal. How do we turn it into a percent?
Multiply by.
So we can either multiply by 100, or we can move the decimal point 2 to the right.
44.
Either way, we're going to get that this is 44.44%.
Yuck.
That would be a very bad.
Okay, all of this is based on getting that correct fraction, and that's where my students have the most mistakes. Okay, so let's look at number 4. What percent, so again, we're reading the word percent, so we know we need a fraction, of the girls, right? So here's the word of, here's the word have, so this is sort of where we need to split. Of the girls. So we need the number of